Hello, I am Kim Knock, founder of Opportunities Knocking. I guide small business owners and coaches to find their voice on social media through personal connection and events. Today we are unveiling the new and improved Connect Show. We want to help your business grow in 10 minutes by bringing on amazing speakers and guests who will share life-changing experiences to help you do business better.
Do it.
Do business better. I am Dottie Posto, and I am a coach. I help, so you know when you have people that you're working with and they work every day after dinner, they're online until 10 or 11 at night.
Guilty.
They're online on the weekends.
Guilty.
I help them cut back the hours without sacrificing success and get their life back.
Ooh.
Love it.
Love it.
Kim, so after coaching, you know, a lot of small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and even some of the big businesses, one of the things I've found is how business owners, the business owner, a CEO of a mid-sized company, tries to DIY it for too long. They don't bring in the right help. You know, someone who can take things that they can do, but that isn't in their zone of genius. It may seem cliche, but that is so critical to find what's your 20% and get somebody in, if you need to help coach people into what their 20% is, or how to delegate or ditch. I mean, too many people are afraid to like, oh, I can't let that go. There's no way. So that's kind of what I found over the last, 20 years.
Beautiful.
The big change in my business last year was delegating a lot of those things that I do and just not doing them anymore. The business will be better if I don't do everything on this list and I just focus on this list. It's great what you do. My name is John Taylor. I am one of the other hosts here at the Connect Show, and I'm the owner of Studio A5, the content creation lab, located in Wauwatosa, soon to be in Waukesha, but we'll get to that because it's going to be fun. And I've worked with hundreds of small businesses, but in particular I've worked with hundreds of coaches, change makers, heart-based businesses that have set out to support the world, instill a behavior change, or teach a new skill. And every small business needs support and knowledge to keep moving in a positive direction. And that's what I love about this show, is that we're honored to have these amazing guests step up to the challenge of trying to change the world in 10 minutes.
Speaking of changing the world in 10 minutes, we just had an amazing event right here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, with something you developed called 10 Talks. I absolutely feel for the concept, and it is 10 talks, just to clarify that. But we had this great event on January 20th, and we had keynote speakers and 10 talk speakers. So people took 10 minutes to change the world, or they took an hour to really make and drive an impact. But the biggest focus that I loved of the whole day was taking that 10 minutes and being able to reflect on six different people's experiences and say, wow, they changed me. 6 life changes in a few hours was absolutely amazing. One big talk that really, I talked about, Tony has a video company, and I totally thought he was going to come up and say how all this video changes the world, and no, he told a life story. And I know John is going to release some great video of that, so I'm not going to give anything away of what he had to talk about, but it changed my view on him even a little bit. And I'm like, I didn't know you used to be that person. I would have never thought it. And he said, you know why? Because that's not who I am. I was somebody I wasn't supposed to be. So that changed not only things for me, but my perspective of some of these individuals.
Yeah, one of the things I took away, not from a 10 talk, because I actually missed several of those, but in one of the main talks, there was a VIP opportunity afterwards to have a small group session. And we did something that I do with my own coachees, with my clients. And we wrote out something we were struggling with, and we read it over and over and over to one person. So we were 1-to-1, and all they asked was, "Are you still struggling?" And I still was, because it was something that was so raw, something very personal. My sister's got a year to live. And so it's just what I learned, and what I teach my clients is, how can we let go of the story of that? We went through and crossed out everything that wasn't fact. And when I got down to some things with my business, some things with my sister, and looked at the facts, the struggle was gone.
Because it lost some of its power because you had all the filler words, right? This is happening, this is happening, this is happening, but it's not really happening. You added all that.
Yeah,
it's not a
all
fact.
The story. And
yeah.
I think what was challenging for me was not necessarily viewing myself as a victim. And I was in a victim mode. I have to remind myself of coaching training I was in almost 10 years ago, is that we all have some level of victim in us. That at times we're all victim. At times we're all in this striving and trying to move forward and all of this. And other times we're just in our great story. John, when do we have this next opportunity to see 10 Talks?
April 10th, we are going to do a new 10 Talk, and it'll be an event that we do every quarter, and it'll be at the new Studio A5, which is just a dream come true for me. It's huge, and it's going to be have lots of seating for a ton of people. Some things that we're going to put in the new 10 Talk is, not only are we going to have 6 speakers who are going to change the world in 10 minutes, but then we're going to have some networking and some time to hang out, reflect, and meet up with each other so we can continue to grow this community in our beautiful new location over in Waukesha.
I can't wait. I love the last one. You just grow every time, right? So during the 10 Talks, Celia was one of our keynote speakers. And she asked, what are you being called to step into this year?
All right, so a couple questions, because this is new year, new you. What are you being called to step into this year? What are you seeing for yourself? I invite you to bring that aspect of yourself that you're seeing, because psychology says that and studies say that when there is a new year, a new month, a birthday, a shift in our lives, we are more likely to make a change. So this is like your fertile ground to make changes in your life. So what are you seeing, and what are you being called to step into?
That resonated with me, and I have been working on changing the way that I approach business, the way that I value myself in business. And so I am being called to focus on my pricing, focus on my ideal client, focus on who am I able to serve that's going to appreciate what I have to give them, because I have so many different things I can do in this world, right? Like, I can do everything, but it doesn't mean that that's what I want to do. A little bit like what John said, I've got this whole list of things, but if I have someone else do that list, and I focus on the things that I can really provide value to people and be able to charge what I feel like I'm worth, and maybe it'll go a little bit into the calendar thing like you talked about, right? Like, I'm not working till midnight every night. I'm able to offload, make enough money to be able to pay staff, and that's what I'm being called to do for this year.
What resonated with me is that over the last year, I hired a marketing coach, and they made some recommendations, and I followed them. They're more successful. You know, I've never had to market myself. I've been in business for 14 years and have never had to market myself. And so this is all very new to me. And I made some shifts that took me off my own core, you know, what I do and what I love. And so really coming back to my own energetic blueprint, as I refer to it, as my own core self, my own authentic self. So in my coaching, in the leadership development work I do, in the retreats that I host, really coming back to my gifts and talents versus things that I'm skilled in that might take a lot more energy.
Yeah.
I'm being called to connect. That was my word of the year. And, you know, bringing connection through the new event space where I can offer an affordable networking and conference space for people to operate in, but more so just thinking of putting my energy into that connection and that events and how can I put things on. So, little backstory: I used to own a nightclub. I owned a whole bunch of them, and I was in the bar business, and we had loud music. The good thing about that is that I had a canvas that I could go in and I could make the whole space look like something, and that's what I loved. I'm I'm in recovery, so that's the downside of it. It wasn't the best business for me to be in, but this is like taking the good aspects of what I did back then and having a venue and a space to, create environments and create an experience for people to enjoy. So that connection and bringing people together is what I'm being called to this year, and I am all in. And we're going for it.
You're bringing people together, but in a different way and really productive way.
Yeah.
For other people, which is going to give you all the good feels at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So people got drunk at the nightclub. Did you get the good feels from that? Well, maybe you enjoyed the money that came in, but
right.
This is different and powerful.
The beauty of this place is we've decided, the building owners, there's health and wellness co-working in the space also, and there's also alternative medicine. So as a group, we've decided that we're going to keep it a sacred space. So there's none of the things, like no junk food, no smoking, no drinking, no drugs, no alcohol, all of those things we just don't want on that property, because we just want to keep that energy clean. And if you need a place to go have, do whatever you do.
Yeah.
There's 100. It's Wisconsin. They're every 4 feet. So
I like that clean energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild because you read my mind. I was the very thing I was thinking of from Energetic Blueprint is, I wonder what the energy is going to be like there.
Yeah.
That was a question that was in my mind.
Yeah. It's filled with healers and energy workers and people who have been teaching yoga and energy healing for 20, 30 years, people who spend a month in India learning the different practices. So the people who are involved with this building and this center are all in the good side of the universe, or the powerful side of the universe that I want to be a part of.
I think that's amazing. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm coming into the new healing portion. I guess that's pretty new to me. Manifesting and healing and meditating, it's all new to me, but I'm embracing it. So I'm really looking forward to finding that at this space as well.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to attend a lot of stuff. I'm just saying.
You'll find me there.
It just sounds so welcoming. And I've seen pictures. I have not seen the space yet, but I've seen pictures, and I'm just really looking forward to all the things it has to offer. I do love expansive. I love everything about this place. The people here are wonderful, and being able to walk past and say hi, and not to say I won't do that, but I'm looking forward to this being part of the new journey that we're all on.
It's a new chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of looking forward to all the new things, we have a new segment for the show, and I'm really excited about this because I'm all about everything digital. John Taylor is going to have a new segment about AI called Keeping It Real with AI. John, what do we have?
Hello, my name is John Taylor, and we're keeping it real with AI, and we're going to talk about how you can use AI to build your business, take a little bit of those things off of your plate, like Dottie was saying earlier, and move forward faster. Okay, so when we talk about AI and all the different tools that are out there, I want to give you a tool that you can use for YouTube and to create video and to create content. So if you're a coach, a change maker, heart-based business, somebody who's out there to make an impact on the world and make a change, this tool is going to help you create videos, build an audience, and turn them into leads to grow your business. The tool that we're going to talk about is vidIQ, and vidIQ is a tool that is it's a control panel that goes on the side of your YouTube page, which I'm going to show you. And it also has a number of different tools to help you find keywords, spy on your competitors, understand your subscribers, do SEO things, all those important back of the house boring things that are very useful and you should be using them. But I want to show you the cool flashy stuff so that you'll buy it. So the first part of, and the most important part of vidIQ, is the sidebar, this powerful panel that goes on the side that shows you what other videos are doing. So let's type in how to defeat imposter syndrome, because that might be a topic that you want to make a video on. We're going to do a search. We're going to find a great video, 234,000 views over 3 years. It's a 10-minute video. Now, the powerful part of this panel that's over here on the right-hand side is it gives you an AI coach, so you can ask anything you want about this video. Hey, AI, give me 3 similar ideas for my channel that I can use to create a video on imposter syndrome. And it's gonna give you a lot of detail. It's gonna give you a title, a description, and then it's also gonna give you this button where you can just go into an AI generator and create that video. But I'm gonna show you that in a minute. As we go down, it analyzes the thumbnail, all of the data around the views, likes, SEO, and subscription. All you data nerds are gonna love all those numbers. Here's the power. It's going to tell you what's good and what's not good, what could be doing better on this channel with the video optimization checklist. So you can review this video, you can say, hey, they're doing all these things good, I could use a little bit more on the description. Here's the gold, video tags. You see that he's on number 1, number 3, and number 4. You need those tags. If you're going to make a video on imposter syndrome, you need those exact tags. So instead of typing them in and copying them, you can just hit download and export them. So there's a lot of powerful tools in this side panel that are going to give you information that you need to be successful. So let's go into a little bit more about what video. Here is an amazing tool. We talked about how to defeat imposter syndrome. Now, if you type that into the AI content generator and hit go, it's going to give you an entire thing on how to conquer imposter syndrome. It's going to give you a video script, and it's also going to make a voiceover. It's going to give you thumbnail backgrounds, keywords, descriptions. It's going to give you everything you need along with those tags, along with all that information. You're going to have a powerhouse of a video that's going to have all the tools to be a good video. You need to deliver the goods. You need to be an expert in your field to make this happen. But all this other stuff, like when Dottie was talking about that 80-20 rule, this is that 80. You don't need to know how to become a keyword master. You don't need to know how to become a description master. You deliver your goods. You do what you do very well. And let AI do some of that other stuff that you're not up to speed with. Once you learn how to do this, you can start making your own descriptions. You can start using this tool at different levels to complement what you do. I hope you find this tool useful. You know, keeping it real with AI is all about how we can use AI to grow our business and to take some of that work off of our plate. I hope to see you next time in the Connect Show.
Our second guest is Sean Tepper. He's the founder and CEO of TYKR, TYKR, a software that helps people manage their own investments with confidence.
Sean has joined us to walk us through his 15-minute blueprint on how to generate more leads with YouTube.
Exciting.
A lot of our audience are coaches, heart-based business owners, small business owners. Can anyone generate leads from YouTube?
I would say yes. So just quick tip off the bat. YouTube is like a workout regimen. You can't like put a video up once and then walk away. You have to stick to it. So you have to get into a flow and stick to a pattern. You don't want to overwork yourself. You're a business coach, so you tell people not to be overworked, but try to create a balance between what you're doing with your business and then how you use YouTube to generate more leads.
So kind of like don't post and ghost type thing, like
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's kind of some stuff that I tell people, like, you got to nurture your stuff. Don't post and ghost.
Yeah.
But I post and ghost on YouTube, but I'm not gonna anymore after we
Stick
learned
to
today
it.
from
Yeah,
Sean.
I'm just looking forward to it.
So I'm really curious about this in your bio that I read. You're in the financial industry. How did you turn that into and love on YouTube?
So with my company TYKR, we serve the what's called the retail investor. So it's everybody, hearing something on a podcast or YouTube or Reddit or Twitter, and then they jump into Robinhood or TD Ameritrade or E-Trade, and they have no idea what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I kind of come from a background of tech meets finance. So I saw a need where, hey, let's create a solution that helps these people, like Warren Buffett style investing. Let's be safe, not stupid and lose our money. So that's really the focus of the YouTube channel, is to educate people and then introduce them to our platform. I'll say this right off the bat, I'm first and foremost an entrepreneur. I'm not a YouTube star by any means, but I'm learning the tricks, a lot of trial and error to get there, on what works for YouTube. So that's kind of a quick backstory.
I think that's cool that you've learned the tricks and now you're happy to share it, even though it's not your background. So you're hearing it from someone that it's actually worked for, not someone that's trying to sell you.
Well, and
thing.
I think what's cool about it is that you said it very quickly and very shortly, but you said through trial and error.
Yes. Yes.
So this has sparked my interest because I do some things on YouTube. Oftentimes it's just automatic things that are going up there from what I'm doing through StreamYard. But can you show us how this is done? Can you talk us through how it's done? How you did it?
Yeah, so starting with probably the most important part are your titles. So I'm gonna get ready. Your audience should have a notepad out. There are people that talk about what to do and they kind of breeze over, but I'll give you the tactical things that actually work. So a title should be about 7 words or less, and try to use like a number within, like here are 3 ways to do this or 5 ways to do this. Another thing that works well is anything that's like how to. People really attract to how to, like 3 ways how to, like invest on my own in the stock market, something like that. Another thing that helps is pain avoidance. Like here are 3 things that can keep you poor. Like that right there is a title that's, oh, I gotta watch that. Am I doing one of those things?
Right.
Or here are 5 ways to lose money in the stock market. Oh, got it. I'm clicking that. So those, if you can kind of put the formulas together there on your title, that's gonna make a big difference right off the bat.
So number 1, titles.
And I really like that because I've just heard in a couple different scenarios that our brain prefers to avoid pain than seek pleasure.
Right. Yeah.
Even though we are comfort seeking, but that to appeal to whoever your buyer is, whoever you're trying to connect with, it's to how can you help them avoid the pain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's step 2?
Step 2.
Number 2 would be your thumbnail. So a lot in here. Again, we'll get tactical on this. So a thumb, you should kind of match the title, but don't use the same characters. You want to get rid of the filler words like and or the, and try to get to the point in about 5 words or less. So not 7, go 5. And it should kind of match that title. And what you also want to do is, this is really key, is a face is the most marketable part of your thumb. And everybody's going to be critical of themselves. They're going to be like, well, I'm not that good looking, or I don't look good on camera. Like, stop it. Like, everybody thinks that way.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is, and this is key, is you want to have your photo kind of like close up, and the furthest away would be kind of a medium shot, so waist up. But there are too many people that'll do like a long shot, like you can see their shoes, like, no, it's got to be face. So that's key. And then you want to shoot, like what I did is I shot like 30 different photos with different reactions, like surprised face and sad face and shocked face and, happy. You can keep it simple, and then pointing images, because you can be pointing to words. And then you can kind of interchange those with the graphics. So take like an hour or 2 and shoot those photos. I use Canva,
Love Canva,
right?
absolutely.
Make your photos look nice there, but that way you've got your kind of a version of your title with you on the thumb. Close-up is key. And then this is a few little details here too. Use a nice, vibrant color background. Don't just go white or gray, although I have done gray a few times. But then you create some colorful fonts. But then you want your font, like let's say it's like our brand is blue. So we'll have a blue background with white font, nice, thick, capitalized letters. Don't go initial caps, go all caps. And then try to use a font that kind of matches the vibe of your brand. If it's more serious, it can be maybe an Arial or maybe really boring like Times New Roman, or you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Or create it more fun, and then you can do the white letters with like a black outline that really makes it pop. But like an example was, I did a video on, you know, the Bitcoin ETFs are all the rage right now. Everybody's talking about it. So I literally did a Bitcoin logo and then something like invest ? You know, so it's enough, and then with me next to it, it's enough to be like, oh, okay. And then because they're going to look at the thumb first and then look at the title, get more context of what you're talking about.
There are so many tips in there. I love kind of the idea of having all the action shots together. You don't have to do it every single video that you create. Do a bunch to be ready, and then you're probably better off putting this stuff out. You're actually going to put your content out if you're ready, right?
Yeah, it's all about batch production. So shoot all of your images, and I'll maybe refresh them like every 3 to 6 months.
Of course, yeah.
And then with the videos, what I usually do is, and this is getting off topic a little bit, but I will actually script out what I want to talk about like the week before. So then I get to like a Monday or Tuesday, I'll take like 2 hours, and that's my window. Like I'll shoot like 3-4 videos, and that's it. That way I can go back to other things I need to work on in the business. But if you get in this mode where I'm going to shoot one on maybe Wednesday and one on Thursday, Friday, that really doesn't work. You have to block off time.
I think that's one of titles and thumbnails are two of the biggest thing. Like don't, and I love these fonts, but don't go throw a Lemon Tuesday font out there. It's all scripty. Nobody can read it. And you got to dig in. You're not going to watch a video because you spent 3 minutes trying to read what it said.
Yeah, I've seen business cards and all sorts of things where I'm like, I have no idea what that says because I can't read the font. I am going to think about that all caps though, because I grew up in, one of my first jobs was in the slide industry, like when there were still slides, like actual physical little slides that you would project up on a wall. And it was always never all caps because it's harder to read. So interesting.
To speak to that, you're not in the title all caps, just in the thumb, but again, there's minimal words there, so that's what it's going to make it stand out.
Beautiful. So we covered titles, we covered thumbs. Next we have
description. Not as important, but what you want here is kind of like a sentence or two about what the video. Don't give away the recipe because you want them to watch the video, but give a little more context, and then have your call to actions there. Like, what do you want them to do? Like with our platform, it's a subscription platform, so you join for free. We want you to try it out. If you have something out there like maybe a PDF or a download or something, send them to that, because you're not going to sell anything. I'll tell you right now, you're not going to sell anything in most cases through YouTube.
Right.
You want them, like the lowest barrier to entry thing you can promote, put that right after that first sentence. And then of course, what helps is like, who are you? Like I make sure, because I'll watch YouTube videos, I'll be like, this person knows what they're talking about. I have no idea who they are. And then I go to the description, their name isn't there. It drives me crazy. So I've got my name, what does my business do? How can it help you? And kind of summarize those things, and then links to other places that they want to check them out. But that's it for the description. Don't split hairs on this. It's like, just get a few things in there and move on.
So I see some people in the descriptions, and you can maybe say yay or nay to this, where it almost, John would be able to help me with the word, but it's gonna put all the words that were in, like all the steps that were in the video. Do you agree with doing that ever, or are you just kind of like, if it's like a how-to video transcript? Thank you. Could not think of that. Like, do you ever put the how-to in the description, or you're like, you know what? No, watch my video.
Yeah, usually no, because you'll have closed captions so people can read anyway. Although if you do put, this is cool about YouTube, is you put like timestamps of like when certain things are talking about. YouTube's smart enough, it will know it's a timestamp. You have to put it into a list, so it could be like, it's like 00:00 is the format. John is probably joking right now because he uses that format for his editing, but it would be like, okay, at 1 minute and 30 seconds, talk about this. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, talk about, so YouTube will highlight those for you automatically. You just have to type them in.
Oh, beautiful. So then they can say, hey, go here to like learn my step of, you know, where you put this part of the WordPress site up or something like that if you're doing like a
exactly.
how-to. Perfect.
Yep.
Great.
So titles, thumbs, descriptions. What's next?
Tags.
What's number 4?
All right, so tags. What you want to do is pretty much use the same tags on every video. The reason is when you finish watching, or somebody finishes watching your video, you want them to go watch another video from you.
Yeah.
So the tag should be identical. What we do is we interchange the first 3 tags with every video. So for example, let's say I'm talking about Tesla. I will do 3 tags on Tesla, like the word Tesla, then the ticker symbol, TSLA, then maybe something else about Tesla, and then let's say I talk about Bitcoin in another video, exchange those out, put in the Bitcoin, everything else stays the same. And I know people try to use software platforms that try to find the best tags, like you don't have to split hairs on that thing either. Just get the same tags. What are people searching for? Like put yourself in their shoes.
Put your Google brain on.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how
I like
many?
that.
I mean, is there some sort of science behind how many?
It'll kind of cut you off. I think we've got like 20 to 30 in there. And it's like in my business, like how to invest for beginners and investing 101 and how to not lose money in the stock market. You know, those would be great tags that we would use.
Okay.
So a tag would be similar, like a hashtag. Basically,
Yes,
that's exactly what it is, but for YouTube,
exactly.
it does it as
Yeah.
a tag, right?
Okay.
Amazing.
Titles, thumbs, descriptions, tags.
Frequency, stick to it. Stick-to-itiveness.
Kind of like the workout.
Yes.
Like you said.
So what we try to do is 3 to 4 videos a week and don't deviate. If like the holidays are coming up, you know, batch record more videos, and then that way you don't have to be like, oh shoot, it's Christmas Eve, I got to shoot video. It's like you don't want to be in that position. So always plan ahead. We try to do 3 to 4 videos per week. Don't overwork yourself. You know, I could probably do more, but probably cut into other things. I'd be stressed out, and then I got to call you and be like, how do I manage my time better? So.
Right. Well, and that's how it is with generally most social media is you should base your calendar on what you can do. So if you can't do 5 videos a week, you can't do it.
Don't commit.
Don't release 5 videos one week and then 0 the next.
Right.
Like, you know,
Right.
be consistent with how you're putting it out there. Then your viewers are going to get to know when to see your
I'm going to add
content.
one more question.
Yes.
What's the magic length of a video?
Good question. Yeah, very good question. So we do one short video that's a minute long, and that's the vertical format, which you see on Instagram. So that one video, 1 minute or less, goes to YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, and TikTok. And then we shoot a long form video, that's the widescreen, normal size screen, and that's usually 10 minutes or less. And some people have said, well, the formula is 10 minutes or it's 8 minutes. Like, don't worry about that. Like, you want to teach people something, provide value, but don't ramble on, because then boredom kicks in and people are clicking away. So length, I wouldn't split hairs on that either. Just try to go 10 minutes or less for the long format.
That's
my
10 minutes.
challenge. That's my challenge. I do lives, and everyone's like, okay, you know, I can't write a script for myself. I go off script all the time. John knows, you can see here,
Yep.
I go off script. And so I have a point, you know, I have a couple of points, like this is the point I want to make. And when I first started, they were like 20, 22 minutes, because I'd go live on Instagram and then it would automatically go to YouTube.
Sure.
And now they're down to like 15-ish. So now I'm going to challenge myself to do them all under 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Boredom, you know, people like shiny objects.
Well,
Yes.
you know, and then you got to keep the viewers engaged. So if you're 15 minutes,
Yeah.
are you 15 minutes of people wanting to watch? Or are you better in 5 minutes? Get that information out there.
Get to the point.
You know, get to the point exactly. And what can you do in that point? It depends on if you have people interacting also.
Yeah, right. The only time you can go longer would be like an interview podcast. You know, like Joe Rogan will have a 3-hour long podcast that's a video. Like that's the only way you can really get away. It's got to be this interview style.
Okay.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Great tips. Sean, it was absolutely wonderful to have you. And I learned, I mean, I'm going to put it all to work. All of it. Title, thumb, description, tags, and frequency, all to work right now. I think John might too. Back with the Connect Show, right?
John gave us a thumbs up.
I want to know though, how can we support you on your journey? Let's find out your handles. Let's follow you. Let's do. What can we do? Yeah,
for sure. TYKR.com, TYKR. If anybody's
TYKR.
interested in investing on their own, you can join for free there. And then the YouTube channel, you'll see links there. It's just Ticker.
Ticker.
So you'll see my photos everywhere. And I got to give a shout out. A lot of the work actually is from my team, who does a lot of the post-production and editing and all that fun stuff.
I can't wait till I'm there.
I know. I know. That is not the love for me, is all the editing and stuff. So I think it's been an absolute pleasure, and to hear from a financial person on how to do YouTube is amazing to me. You were able to change my perspective in just a few minutes. So thank you so much for your time
Well,
today.
thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to join Ticker because I've got
We
money
welcome
that's
you.
kind of sitting there waiting to get into an investment. So
Well,
Rock
look
on.
at that.
Let's do this.
All right,
Let's do it.
amazing. Thank you so much. Our guest is Jake Hoffman. Jake is a dynamic leader in sales and marketing, currently beginning a new chapter with renowned print company SG360. He founded Printers Under 40, a network fostering community and career growth in the Midwest print industry.
a University of Wisconsin lacrosse alum, Jake's achievements include transforming business units, integrating cutting-edge technologies, leading brand revitalization efforts. His dedication and hands-on leadership have earned him the recognition as a rising star in the print industry. Jake, you started Printers Under 40. Why is that important to recognize people under 40 in the print industry?
Yeah, so thank you for the introduction. Certainly, I think more than I deserve. And also thank you for having me on the show. So I also cannot take credit for being the sole inventor of this Printers Under 40 group. It was actually started with Austin Meisner. Shout out Austin. He works for Color Inc., printer in Sussex. But what our kind of goal was is at times you kind of feel like, hey, you're looking around and I'm the only person in this industry that is, under the age of 40. And so as I was kind of, I'd meet one person at one print company and then two at this print company, and we would always immediately sort of start talking about, what if we did this and this? So what we ended up doing was just saying, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could all get together and network and kind of form kind of like a little bit of just an industry peer group. What's been really cool about it is, to me, it's set kind of the foundation for long-term business professional relationships. And it also kind of, I've seen just such a cross-pollination of ideas. It's really cool because through all different parts of the industry, so whether it's the printers, whether it's paper, whether it's the manufacturers of the machines, all of a sudden you'll be at an event and you just see, two people kind of step off in the corner and start going like this. And it's been just a really wonderful experience kind of getting those people together.
I think that's great. There's room for everybody. I have a hashtag that I love to follow, collaboration, not competition. So you can find a way to work with each other, and you've got the whole, printing is not going away, right? We've got, everybody needs pens, and John and I attended an event a few years ago, and in an event space, and we're like, all right, who's got the best swag? And we actually did kind of a show, like, who's got the best swag? Yeah, we did. And we recorded it, and I'm sure John's got older clips of it somewhere, but it was just kind of like, all right, so-and-so has a bowling ball, or everybody's all over these Stanley Cups or whatever. Right. Whatever, but I think that's amazing. So you have a passion for printing and also want to challenge the status quo, which is such a vital part of being an entrepreneur. So where did you get your entrepreneurial spirit?
Yeah, so I think, I was never the kid that ran a lemonade stand or was selling ice on the beach like Mark Cuban. I was definitely not that guy. One of the things that I think just through kind of a lived experience, there was sort of a pivotal kind of moment that happened really early on in my life. So I have a younger brother. His name's Sam. When he was 2 years old, he was diagnosed with a rare neurological disorder. It's called succinic semialdehyde dehydrogenase deficiency. For this, we'll just call it SADH because it's way easier that way. So he was at the time of his diagnosis, he was the 81st person in the world, 81, to be diagnosed with this disorder. And basically the narrative was, he's not going to walk, he's not going to talk, if he makes it past a certain age, it'll be a miracle. He can ride a bike, he's thriving right now. And what I think kind of came out of that was my parents were just like, well, there's this huge daunting problem, and they could have allowed it to be like, well, that's the end of the story, and oh well. But they started a foundation. They raised over $2 million for research. Whenever anyone gets diagnosed with this disorder, they're the first call, and they can say, here's the resources that you can use, and no, there's this huge quality of life opportunity that you have. And so it's just been this really amazing thing, and I've gotten kind of a shotgun seat to that. So I think what I hesitate to call myself an entrepreneur. I think what I do, and I think what a lot of great entrepreneurs do, is they see these problems and they can be really daunting, they can be really scary. And rather than let sort of fear and paralysis set in, it's kind of like, well, let's just start taking one thing at a time and start making progress on it. So I think for me, that's probably, if any type of entrepreneur, it's just, there's a problem, let's go try to solve it.
You have more freedom to be able to solve it when it's your company, right? Rather than if you're stuck on harder leadership, like what Dottie might be dealing with or helping with, you are able to say, no, I'm going to listen to my team, or let's solve this together.
We've talked a little bit around this, but maybe if you could just clarify, what exactly, do you have your own business, or, are you a part of another business?
Basically what happened is I was working for a company that was primarily doing catalog printing, and then I basically built out an entire business unit doing another type of printing that has just taken off.
So you are seen as a visionary in your industry. You saw a need for change, and others might have said, the print industry, it's just going to go along as it's always gone along, but you saw something different. So if you, in that visionary state, in that visionary sense, if you could bestow one gift or a solution that would help an entrepreneur or business owner, people who want to revitalize an industry, what would you share with them?
Yeah, I think every person, whether it's through lived experience, has like a really unique perspective, and it doesn't have to be. I think the thing that I hear and see a lot is, people have this opinion, or they have an idea or whatever it might be, and then they're like, well, if I had this title, or well, if I was in this position, then I'll express it, and then I'll start doing these things. And to me, I guess my advice would sort of be like, don't play small. Like, there's no reason to play small. And so for me, I think the people that I see that are out there successful, that are changing things, they have an opinion, and they sort of get over this imposter syndrome, like maybe I'm not qualified to talk about it. And I had to do the same thing. I'm coming into an industry that's been established for forever, right? But I have a unique perspective on it. I think I have a voice, and I think it's worth hearing. So I owe it to myself to share that, and I think people need to sort of contribute, right? Regardless of where you are, within your sort of career journey. I think it's important that you owe it to yourself to kind of give your opinion and share what you think needs to be done.
That's so critical. I see that someone very close to me very often is, I am just, states their title. And it's like, but you see what needs to be done. You see how it could be better.
Yeah.
Contribute.
Yeah, and so many times too, and I think this is kind of, just such a classic example, is you get in this meeting and, okay, we're having the meeting and we're talking about the problem and here's the proposed solutions. You take one step out of the meeting and then the person goes, well, have we thought about, and it's like, I want to grab them by the ear, bring them back in and say, okay, say what you just said to me, right? Because you
don't be afraid. Do it in front of everybody.
Right. Don't be afraid. And I think, and one thing I will say too is I know that's easy to say, but I also think it's a little bit on the leadership of organizations to create an environment where that's allowed. So it doesn't matter where the idea comes from. It matters that the idea was presented and it was given the proper, due diligence, right?
Yeah.
To really
I have a lot
evaluate
of
it.
activities that I do with leaders, or even just things that I offer for free to them, of how can you make sure that you are getting the genius of everyone in the room? Because too many people are, they say they're an introvert and they don't want to speak up. Oftentimes it's just that they process more slowly. Or there's someone in the room who's dominating.
Right.
You're absolutely right that it is a leadership responsibility to make sure that you are drawing from everyone and not just, who you're close to or who's always talking.
Right.
There's a lot of ideas that are probably being missed.
That's a key thing right there, because a lot of meetings, you're being talked at. It's not a collaborative effort. And even when they're saying, do you have something to offer? Are you willing to hear what's being offered? And if you're in a space that you're willing to hear that thing being offered, more people are going to want to jump out. So once you bring in that atmosphere or that energy, it's going to be more apt for people to follow into it, I think.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I really want to thank you for joining us today, but I also want to be able to help support you on your journey in everything printing. Let's go. How can we support you?
Well, I think this is a great start, right? Giving a platform for me to kind of come in and talk about, the print industry. And it's kind of a flourishing industry. I think there's this misconception, right? Print is so big, right? So I think having the nuanced conversation to say, if you're in newspaper print, I might be a little bit worried, but that's just one small segment of just a huge industry, right? You think about packaging, what Amazon, all these different areas and opportunities. One of the cool things too is I've been, fortunate in my career to be able to work with some of the leading edge brands in the country, right? And they're turning to print because they've exhausted all the digital channels and resources. And so now to get over that plateau, they're integrating with print and seeing huge, growth in their marketing spend and customer acquisition. So there's just a whole, sort of this misconception about, how print's doing. So thank you for giving me the platform to be able to speak on that.
One final thing, I'm curious, do you have an ideal customer base? Is it large companies? Do you deal with entrepreneurs, or do you deal with start to finish, all in between?
Yeah, all in between. So whether it's, sort of the top 500 companies, they're the huge printing needs, all the way to, the startup direct-to-consumer business that, they're working out of their garage, and all of a sudden they're in a warehouse, and all of a sudden the warehouse is doubling. So It's been really exciting to take some of those brands and on that journey, right? So it's been a really cool experience. So it's out there, and it's a great career opportunity for young people that are looking to get into an industry. So
amazing. Happy to have you today.
Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Appreciate it.